Welcome to What's Your Edge, a series of Vision Edge marketing podcasts dedicated to helping you use data, analytics, process, and measurement to create a competitive edge for you and a superior experience for your customers. Successful positioning and messaging are the ingredients for writing and telling your business's story, so it engages customers, evokes emotions, and drives action. A successful story demands more than creative flair. It requires rigorous research, customer centricity, and validation. We can take a lesson from the book of skilled authors who frequently rely on feedback to refine their story. Businesses too can harness the power of validation research, a form of feedback and testing, to ensure key messages resonate with the intended customers and prospects. In this episode of What's Your Edge, we'll review the role of customer and prospect validation, outline the steps for conducting and using it, and provide some examples along the way. The positioning and messaging process is similar to the writing process. Pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and finally publishing are common steps in both. In the pre-writing phase, authors conduct research and develop storyboards and outlines to support their plot and characters and guide their writing. Conducting research is applicable for most writers, whether the storyline is fiction or nonfiction. It lays the groundwork for developing the plot and characters to captivate readers from the first to the last page. Companies too should use solid research to create a narrative that is messages comprised of a storyline that captures customers' and prospects' attention and compels them to act. This research is used to construct customer-centric positioning and message maps that resonate with targets' aspirations and challenges. Armed with this strategic insight, you can develop a narrative that positions your solution as the hero in the story. We all know that assumptions can lead to costly missteps. That's why most authors revise their drafts many, many times. As part of the revision process, they often gather feedback from potential readers and trusted advisors. In business, this type of feedback or testing occurs during the validation process. Validation is used to learn the extent to which the storyline represents what customers and prospects need, want, expect, and prefer. Writers use the feedback to revise and edit their drafts to help ensure the final work will be market-worthy. Feedback from the validation process facilitates editing and revising the messaging to minimize the risk of failed initiatives and avoid investing resources to bring positioning and messaging to life that will just fall flat with your customers. Before a work can be reviewed and revised, it must be drafted. During drafting, writers form their ideas into complete thoughts represented in sentences and paragraphs. They organize these ideas in a way that allows the reader to understand the message. That is, they're customer-centric. To ensure your positioning and messaging are customer-centric, you will want to address and then validate at least the following 3 areas. First, aligns with customer expectations. Just as writers study reader preferences and trends, your positioning and messaging benefits from delving into customer insights. Conduct customer and prospect surveys and interviews and analyze market trends to gain valuable insights into desires, pain points, and aspirations of your target customers. For example, imagine you're a cosmetics brand seeking to launch a new skincare line, and what you're going to do is conduct validation research among your target demographic. In doing so, you may discover that your audience values natural ingredients and cruelty-free products. By aligning your messaging with these values, your brand can position its skincare line as a sustainable and ethical choice, resonating with environmentally conscious consumers. Or you're a software company aiming to launch a new project management tool, and you conduct surveys and interviews with target customers. In doing so, you discover that the audience values ease of use and seamless integration with existing workflows. On with this insight, the company can tailor its messaging to highlight simplified project management and enhanced productivity. Okay, the second area, mitigates customer risks and pitfalls. Conflict drives the narrative in a story plot. Setting clear outcomes and understanding the obstacles your customers face is akin to defining the central conflict in a plot. Identifying the conflicts and pain points your customers and prospects experience is crucial for effective messaging. Message claims and associated evidence should articulate the goals your customers want to achieve, the challenges they encounter along the way, and how your solution helps overcome them. Whether it's conquering inefficiencies, addressing frustrations, or solving challenges, your messaging should offer a resolution that alleviates conflicts and fulfills your customers' needs. By addressing these obstacles head-on and positioning your product or service as the solution, you can create a compelling narrative that motivates action. Let's look at a couple of examples here too. Imagine you're a technology startup and you plan to introduce a new mobile app targeting young professionals. Through research, you can uncover a preference for intuitive user interfaces and seamless user experiences among your target audience. By addressing these preferences in your messaging, your company can mitigate the risks of user dissatisfaction and low adoption rates. Or imagine you're a clothing brand that plans to launch a new line of athleisure wear in targeting young professionals. Through research, you can uncover a preference for sustainable and eco-friendly materials among your target audience. Armed with this insight, your brand can develop its messaging to highlight the environmentally conscious aspects of your products, mitigating the risk of alienating environmentally conscious consumers. Now let's look at the third area, enhances brand preference. Edelman's Trust Barometer revealed that 81% of customers need to be able to trust the brand to buy from it. Your message map and positioning need to convey that your brand is authentic, relevant, and trustworthy, thereby strengthening brand preference and fostering long-term customer loyalty. For example, if you're a financial services firm, you're going to want to conduct focus groups with existing customers to gain insight into positioning and messaging strategies for a retirement planning service. In doing so, you discover that the audience values personalized advice and transparent communication. By incorporating these elements into its messaging, the firm can enhance its brand preference as a trusted advisor in financial matters. A good story requires a plot, characters, and a theme, such is the case with a message map. Structure your message map to keep your customers engaged and guide them what we call the C's, the journey of contact, connection, conversation, consideration, and consumption. Unexpected plot twists add excitement to the story, just as incorporating unexpected elements into your messaging will capture your customers' attention and pique their curiosity. Whether it's unveiling a new product feature, announcing a limited time offer, or sharing a surprising customer success story, these twists and turns add intrigue and keep your audience engaged. Developing compelling characters is fundamental to a captivating plot. Similarly, in business, defining personas is crucial for effective messaging and positioning. Each persona represents a distinct character in your narrative with their own needs, desires, and pain points. By understanding your customer personas, you can create messaging that resonates with them on a personal level, making them feel understood and valued. Themes give depth to a plot. Define key themes for your messaging that convey your brand's values and resonate with your customers and prospects. Whether it's emphasizing trust, innovation, sustainability, responsiveness, or something else, themes infuse your messaging with meaning and relevance. Okay, you've got your story written. Now it's time to roll out the validation tests. Rewrites and edits are part of the life for writers. Validation is about embracing feedback. By using the following 6 steps to validate messaging and positioning, you can refine your approach based on real-world customer-centric feedback, maximizing the impact of your efforts. First, define objectives and criteria. Start by clearly defining the objectives of the validation process and the criteria for success. Determine what specific aspects of the messaging and positioning you aim to validate, such as clarity, relevance, differentiation, or emotional resonance. For example, if you're an electronics manufacturer, you may want to validate your messaging for your new line of smart home devices. Your objectives might include assessing the customer's understanding of the solution's key features and perceived value versus that of a primary competitor, and identifying keywords and data triggers that drive purchase decisions. Second, identify your target audience. Identify the target customer segments most relevant to the messaging and positioning being validated. Consider factors such as demographics, psychographics, and buyer personas to ensure representative feedback. For example, a beauty brand targeting millennials and Gen Z consumer conducts validation research specifically among this demographic group. You would segment your audience based on factors such as age, gender, income level, and beauty preference to ensure feedback is relevant and actionable. Third, craft validation materials. You're going to need to develop materials such as messaging frameworks, value propositions, and positioning statements. Ensure the materials are concise, coherent, and align with the brand's values and objectives. So if you're a software as a service startup and you would create a messaging framework outlining the key benefits of your product. The framework might include value propositions, elevator pitches, and customer testimonials as evidence to provide a comprehensive overview of the product's value proposition. Fourth, select validation methods. You're going to need to choose appropriate validation methods based on the objective and target audience. Common methods include surveys, focus groups, and one-on-one interviews, or what we know as IDIs, A/B testing, or usability testing. Consider using a combination of qualitative and quantitative approaches for comprehensive insights. So here's a couple of examples. You're a product marketing team and you've created two versions of a product description, one emphasizing cost savings and the other focusing on productivity gains. By testing these variations with different segments of the company's target audience, the product marketing team can identify which ones resonates most strongly and adjust the messaging accordingly. Or if you're a healthcare provider, you might conduct some one-on-one interviews with patients to validate messaging for a new telemedicine service. You might ask open-ended questions to understand patients' perceptions, preferences, and concerns regarding virtual healthcare visits, allowing for in-depth qualitative insights. Okay, the fifth step, collect and analyze feedback. Gather feedback from customers and prospects using the chosen validation methods. Analyze the data collected to identify recurring themes, insights, and areas for improvement. You're looking for patterns in the feedback so you can make informed adjustments to your messaging and positioning. So imagine you're a hospitality brand and you're collecting feedback from guests through post-stay surveys and online reviews to validate the messaging for your loyalty program. You're going to want to analyze the feedback related to program benefits, ease of redemption, and overall satisfaction to identify areas where messaging can be clarified or enhanced. And the final and sixth step is edit and refine. As the feedback pours in, it's time to make appropriate edits. Based on the insights gained from validation, iterate your messaging and positioning to address any identified gaps or opportunities. This may involve tweaking language, adjusting tone, or revising key value propositions based on customer preferences. Test the revised messaging with additional validation rounds to ensure continuous improvement and alignment with customer needs. So if you're a consumer packaged goods company, you might revise the messaging for your new product based on feedback from validation surveys. You might emphasize specific product features highlighted by customers and adjust your language to better resonate with the target audience segments. And after you implement these changes, you'll want to conduct follow-up validation to confirm the effectiveness of your revised messaging. If customers express confusion about a particular feature highlighted in messaging, the validation phase allows your organization to clarify the benefits or explore alternative ways to communicate your value. By iterating on messaging based on customer feedback, you can ensure that your messaging resonates more effectively with the target audience. By conducting thorough research, deploying effective validation tests, and iterating based on customer feedback, you can produce messaging and positioning that resonates like a bestseller. Just as authors launch their works, businesses unveil their refined messaging and positioning strategies to the world. Confidently bring your positioning and messaging to fruition, knowing that you've thoroughly validated your messaging and positioning with your target customers and prospects. Start your positioning and messaging process with our affordable, easy-to-use, and time-tested workbook. Employ the power of positioning and messaging. We hope you found this episode of What's Your Edge helpful. What's Your Edge is the creation of Vision Edge Marketing. Vision Edge Marketing, founded in 1999, helps our customers solve the most difficult challenges when it comes to using data, analytics, process, and measurement to accelerate growth, create customer value, and improve performance. We always welcome hearing from you.